This is the Progressive Empowerment Party, and we're coming to you tonight to give you the answers, solutions, and the questions that you need so desperately answered. At the height of the election season, we are seeing partying like we've never seen before. We are seeing celebration like we've never seen before. But what actually are we celebrating? Are we celebrating the fact that our children cannot get a proper education? Are we celebrating the fact that when you go to the grocery, you have to check your items 1, 2, 3, 4 times to make sure you can afford the groceries? What are we celebrating, Trinidad and Tobago, as we back these corruption-filled parties that are deliberately flaunting their wealth, their greed, and their corruption in our faces? Are we celebrating the fact that in 2020, we still don't have water? We don't have water 24/7 after being promised from 1960. Are we celebrating the fact that we have been independent for 57 years, and to this day we operate as though we are a colonial estate? Trinidad and Tobago, it's time to wake up. It's time to say no to the corrupted elements destroying this country. It's time to say no to the politicians of going back and forth, exchange, and getting nowhere. We are on the ground. We at the Progressive Empowerment Party are on the ground. We are listening to what you have to say. But what you are saying is that you are not in agreement with what these politicians are doing. You are not in agreement with 57 years of non-representation. When is the last time you saw your member of parliament? When is the last time your member of parliament solved the issues that are facing our constituencies? Why does flooding continue year after year after year? But we have so-called educated members of parliament, from environmentalists to economists to geologists to accountants, but yet we can't even get anything right in any of those fields. Where are the billions going? Where are they going? Ask yourself, Trinidad and Tobago, as you continue to be taxed to the ground where you cannot even afford your monthly bills, but yet we're jumping and waving? Really, people, it's time to wake up. Time to wake up and say no. Time for a new change. The new change you are looking for is the Progressive Empowerment Party. We are the party to take Trinidad and Tobago into the future, into the 21st century, and not the past. Trinidad and Tobago, ask yourself, what do I deserve? You deserve better, and we know that we deserve better. Say no to these two corrupted parties. At the Progressive Empowerment Party, we are on the ground. We are on the ground listening to your concerns, even solving issues before we're even in Parliament. But we need your help. We need your help to say no. We need your help to mobilize this country, because we only have one chance to make it right, one chance to get this and tell them no, get out of office where you belong. Take your corrupted self out of this country and let the rest of us live in peace. Let the rest of us live in crime-free Trinidad and Tobago that we once knew. Let the country prosper. But we need your help. This is no time to sit and watch TV and watch from afar and say, no, I'm not interested in politics. You are living politics, Trinidad and Tobago. Your water is politics. Education is politics. The extreme price of groceries in this country is politics. So get up and say yes. Say yes to the Progressive Empowerment Party. It starts with you, it ends with you, and it's your time to say no and vote them out.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Lima McLeod. I'm Deputy Political Leader and Co-Chair of the Women's Arm for the Progressive Empowerment Party. I am also the candidate for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. Many of you might have seen my video that went viral recently, where I was upset over the drive-by representation that I got from my current MP, Mr. Stuart Young, and the blatant disrespect that was shown, right? I want to ask Trinidad and Tobago, why are we accepting that kind of representation? When you look at other countries in the world, they don't do this drive-by and this motorcade and all this wine and jam and all of that foolishness. Why are we doing that here? Why aren't we focusing on the issues? The bad roads, no jobs, lack of agriculture, high cost of living. Why aren't we focusing on these things? Why aren't we asking these questions? After you wine and jam and raise up your leg and shake up and telele, what's happening after that? Are the food prices going to go down after that? Could you go in the grocery comfortably without your calculator and be comfortable with that? No. It is time for us to sit down and analyze and think about the future. And not because you're getting a little small money from your ruling party or whichever party you support for now. You have to think about after. You have to think about all of the other citizens. The party might work for you because you're getting a contract, you're getting some kind of money. The corporation giving you money for some contract, job or some kind of thing. But at the end of the day, after elections, when we have to go to the grocery together, taxi, bus, whatever the case is, are you going to be getting real value for your money? Are we going to be satisfied? These are the issues. Why aren't we asking for more debates? Each candidate in each constituency debate each other. Why aren't we asking for these things? What could Stuart Young come now and say that he has done in our constituency? What could he come and say that he has done for national security in Trinidad and Tobago? What could any of them say? Look at social development. It is failing. We have no tourism. We don't even have domestic tourism anymore. What's going on with sports, food, agriculture? They're saying yes, they're doing this now, but why wasn't it done 4 years ago? We need to be in agriculture as of 10 years ago, not now. We can't feed ourselves. We import everything. This is unfair to everybody. This is unfair to all of us, all of our citizens. It is time for us to stop being selfish and thinking about what I am getting, what you getting. We have to think about the bigger picture. This is about Trinidad and Tobago. It is time for real change. We need to do better than this. We need to think about our future. The generation after us who cannot get jobs, who cannot get some meaningful employment because the government is not opening up opportunities for them. I saw a video where these youths were complaining about their current MP coming back in the area and they were burning his jerseys and saying they don't want box drain work, they don't want drain work. They want real representation, they want real jobs. With money they could pay for school for their children, they could pay for entertainment, they could buy a car, they could get a house. Right now we can't do all of those things. And it is unfair that some can and many cannot. It is time that we make things that everybody can be afforded the same opportunity. It is time to change Trinidad and Tobago. It is time that we stand up for our country. No more wine and jam all over the place instead of focusing on real issues. Real issues, real change, Progressive Empowerment Party.
I, Christopher Roberts, candidate for Lavantille East Mover. I'm here to represent the people. I'm here to fight for the people. I'm fed up of the neglect of Lavantille for 57 years. I am fed up. And this is why I have to get up and put myself in this position and come out to fight for you. Lavantille East Mover. Vote for me, Christopher Anderson Roberts. Let me be a voice for you. Let me be that person to fight for you on the ground. We have been neglected too much. Look at our roads. Look at our schools in Lavantille. Look at the level of education we are getting. I want to fight for you. And these are the things I want to fight for you. I want the same level of education in Mova. The same level of education in CIC. In Sacred Heart Boys. In Trinity East College. I want that same level of education in Mova Lavantille, in Russell Latapi, in Success. Our roads is the worst. We have pitch. We have all the natural resources. International countries buy our stuff. But yet our roads are bad. And what is going on? Where's our money? I want you to give me a chance. Because I'm fed up of the corruption. I'm fed up of this only one kind of people enjoying the fat of the land. I'm fed up of there's only one set of people having the finest education. I'm fed up of that. And I'm living in a land where it's rich. I'm living in a land where it's trillions of dollars are spending. But yet none of these monies is hitting Lavantille. None of these monies is hitting the people on the ground, the common man. And this is what Christopher Anderson Roberts want to fight for you for. I want the best for you. I want the best for you. I want to pull up and take out my wallet and able to buy something from you. I want to pull up on the side of the lady and able to buy a cup of sauce from you. Because you know why? I want to invest back into my community. Right? I want to invest back into my community. Because I want the best for the youths of Lavantille East Mover. Lavantille East Mover. Give Christopher Anderson Roberts a chance. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. You give other people a chance. And what they have done, they have failed you miserably. They have failed you. 57 years. They have used you and abused you. They never did anything for you because you know why? You know why? Because they know despite what, no matter what I do to these people in Lavantille, they're still going to give me that vote. I want us to come out of that mental slavery. I want us to come out of this mental slavery. Lavantille people are loving people, are blessed people. They are joint heirs to the riches of this land. Sweet T&T. Sweet Trinidad and Tobago. Where there's natural resources, oil, pitch. We have it, the best cocoa in the world. Come on, why we are living poor when we're living in a rich land? Why we are hungry when there's so much food around us? Why? Why? I believe now is the time. This election on the 10th of August, we're going to make a change. I believe that you're going to vote me. Because you see a young man that loves you. You see a young man that's going to fight for you. You see a young man that is going to be bold for you. You see a young man that is not only going to wait for your vote and he's not going to see in the next 5 years. Come on. I'm a known fella in Mover. I'm a known person in Lavantille. So you know that this election is going to change me. Come on. I want to fight for you. I want to help you. I want to make my constituency great. I want that because I came from Lavantille and I didn't get a chance. I didn't get nothing. I didn't even know I was living in a rich land. Because when I looked to my left and I looked to my right, all I see was poverty. When I step out of Lavantille and go into town, I'm like in the next world. So yeah, what we're going to do? We're going to bring back these blessings to Lavantille. We're going to bring back this riches to Lavantille. And give me a chance and I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my sweat, blood and tears into this work to make Lavantille great. Lavantille, give me a chance. Christopher Anderson Roberts. That's all I'm asking for. One chance. One chance to make you great. And remember, save T&T. Give the Progressive Empowerment Party a chance. And give me, Christopher Anderson Roberts, a chance. Lavantille East Mover, give me a chance. And let's save T&T. And let's give the Progressive Empowerment Party that chance to make Trinidad great.
Good day, Diego Martin Central. My name is Felicia Holder and I am your candidate and I hope to be your future representative for the constituency. Now, we live in a constituency where you can either become involved in crime or become a victim of crime. It depends on where you live. But at the same time, as a constituency, we're all impacted because nobody wants to be involved in crime. That's not the first choice for anybody. But it has become a lifestyle for many of us who feel like we have no hope and opportunity in Diego Martin Central. And those who become victims of crime, you may live behind your nice gated communities, or you may live in your nice little crescents and Paradise Avenue and all of these places. But when a man 2 minutes from you in a neighborhood right up the road from yours is living a lifestyle or living in a home or living in a community where there is no hope, where there's a sense of hopelessness, where there's a sense of frustration, who do you think he's going to come and rob? And this is not me trying to point out or point fingers at any one group or one community in particular, but it's pointing at all of us in Diego Martin Central. The well-being of Diego Martin citizens, Diego Martin Central citizens, is the responsibility of the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central. And that brings me to the number one issue that seems to be plaguing Diego Martin Central, lack of representation. And for all those who know the current sitting MP, you know that there is absolutely no representation for this constituency. And it is the reason why all of these things are a problem. Poor roads, water. I mean, I know residents up in Kokoja who had to put on pipes and send their own water uphill because WASA and public utilities in their constituency has not yet figured out how to get water uphill in 2020. So residents had to resort to making and fitting together their own piping system just to get water to bathe, to cook, to wash clothes. Poor representation is why we are here as a constituency and why we are here as a country, because we have allowed our members of parliament / ministers of this and that, we have allowed them to get away with too much. And the number one thing I would like to bring, I have spoken about water and fixing water and decentralizing public works so that the roads don't only get paved around election time. But you see, representation, that issue is one I harp on it particularly for Diego Martin Central, because I know you have been neglected. I know that the only time you see a member of parliament or saw a member of parliament was when he came to campaign for your vote 5 years ago. Now that he's demitting office, what has he left in the wake of his legacy? He has left a people of Diego Martin Central who are disenchanted, who fed up of the same old, who no longer believe in politics. But I want to tell you, the Progressive Empowerment Party, if it's one thing I would like to bring to this constituency, is that issue of representation. I don't think I have ever campaigned or wanted a job so badly in my life, because I want to show you what Felicia Holder, as your representative in Parliament, can do. I'm the chairman of this party, and I run this party as if it is my own, as if I built it from scratch. And that is not, ignoring the fact that there was some great men and women alongside me doing this. But I treat it like that, and I treat this as if it is mine, because if I put the effort that I put into it, I want to see the fruits of my labor. I love seeing things happen, knowing that I put my hard work and my tenacity and my persistence behind it. And that same thing that I do for the Progressive Empowerment Party, that same thing that I do for my own business, I want to do for Diego Martin Central. I want you to see this bubbly face come into your door, not selling you lies and selling you promises and handing you a t-shirt and telling you vote for me and I'll set you free. No. I want you to know and understand what real representation is, what solutions is. Decentralizing water management to Diego Martin Central, allowing us to use natural sources of water, spring water, like what we have on Spring Flow Road, and all the water that are rushing down the mountains through the Diego Martin River out into the sea. That same water that we could use right now to bathe and eat and cook and clean. I want to show you solutions like that, and show you that I care enough, that I will work hard enough, not for your votes, but for the chance to represent you, your voice in that parliament. My name is Felicia Holder. I want to be a representative for Diego Martin Central. I want you to save TNT by voting for PEP.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to the first in a series of Progressive Empowerment Party town hall meetings, virtual town hall meetings because of the COVID-19 restrictions, social distancing, and what have you. But welcome all the same. All of the speakers spoke tonight with fire. We are on the ground. We are dealing daily with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in all of the 28 constituencies that we are contesting, and from others that people are contacting us from, trying to get assistance, trying to get help. Today, I was following up an issue in Diego Martin Northeast where I am the candidate that I was dealing with for all of the weekend, matters pertaining to abandonment by the regional corporation, abandonment by the member of parliament. People's number one complaint this election is that they don't see the member of parliament. Nowhere, no time, no how. And if they see them, it's for a stunt. If they see them, it's for politics. Cheap politics. That's not benefiting nobody. The ground is suffering. In Trinidad and Tobago, they can't breathe. People are looking for hope and for opportunity. When we talk change, people are looking for real change. Change that resonates in their wallet, in their bank account balance. Change that they could feel in their classrooms, in their boardrooms. Change that they understand when they go to the grocery and they pack a trolley, that when they get to the cash register, the money for the units of work that they've done could buy food for their families. But that's not going to happen with more stunt politics. We've been getting stunt politics for the past 20 years. Thank God for the silver lining of COVID-19 that prevented the deep pocket financiers from pumping millions of dollars into platform stunts all through the country. We would have seen people flying through the air by now. Anything to distract you. The two other parties, the red crew and the yellow crew, they're not knocking on your door to talk policy to you. They're knocking on your door with trailer trucks of music blaring and jamming at you so everybody can take a little chip and a little wine and they can hand you a piece of paper that means nothing because the last election's piece of paper meant nothing. But the Progressive Empowerment Party is trying to be that real change. When we tell you, when we make a promise to you, we're hearing one side making the wildest of promises. 50,000 jobs. 50,000 jobs where? You can't just say 50,000 jobs. You have to be able to say 50,000 jobs broken down, 10,000 in agro-processing, 10,000 in shipping, 10,000 in assembly, 10,000 in construction. Where are these jobs? And when you say agro-processing and shipping and construction, still not good enough. You need to be able to drill down and show us and take us along the path. Teachers used to say when we were small, show us your work. Don't just make wild promises anymore. We've been there for too long. All we've gotten in exchange for all of those fancy words for all of these years is fooled. We've been fooled. We've chosen red, we've chosen yellow, we've chosen red, we've chosen yellow. And all we've gotten for all of that, in the last 20 years alone, we've spent $1 trillion, but not on the people. Because the people's lives have not improved. The cost of living has gone so far away from earnings that people are hustling to survive on a daily basis. One job per person has become two parents working multiples of jobs just to keep the roof over their children's heads. That is insanity in a country this wealthy. And even if they've already stolen all of our money, this country is so blessed, it is so rich in raw and natural resources that if we had a real government in office that understood that food independence would bring the price of food down and the cost of living within reach, that if instead of having to pay a rent, the average person was paying a mortgage on their own home, they could be putting aside equity to leave to the next generation, developing wealth throughout the communities. If we had a government that understood that what people needed right now in their lives is that their children's young lives, their youth, not wasted in failed schools. 7,000 of the 20,000 children that do SEA every year, in the 5 years that follow SEA, 7,000 of those children, on average, fail or flunk out of a broken system. We have a prestige school system that rewards a small handful of our nation's youth and leaves the rest to become French fry packers, baton twirlers, hustlers, and criminals. We've created a pipeline straight from the classroom to the jail cell. and no one is being held to account. Because every election is red nonsense, yellow nonsense, stunt, bacchanal, finger point, and nothing comes of it. We've built a rogues gallery from Sam P. Wallace and Johnny O'Halloran and Francis Privat and names and names and names. I could call Malcolm Jones' name. He dead. I could say Patrick Manning. He in the ground. We could talk about those who still living, even though they're bandits, even though they stole millions and billions of this nation's money. If we call their name, we get a pre-action protocol letter. Because if we can't prove, if I can't be Commissioner of Police, Director of Public Prosecutions, head of the fraud squad, if I can't be everything, if I can't have at my disposal all of the resources of the entire criminal justice system, law enforcement in Trinidad and Tobago, and be able to prosecute all of them, I can't say nothing. But what of the people who actually have those offices? What of the people who are paid to do these things? Because if every government we've ever had has collapsed in a heap of allegation, true crime they call it, in a heap of corruption allegation, if the Chamber of Commerce itself could finally admit that the PNM and the UNC have no interest in the people of this country, have no interest in the business community of this country, that the red side and the yellow side are only interested in leading a gorging and a feeding frenzy through this nation's treasury. We are broken, and in debt. To this day, no one can answer. The public is asking, who owns our pitch lake? Where is the accounting for the earnings of that state enterprise, if it truly is a state enterprise? Because we don't know. But our pitch, paving thousands of miles of roads in China, and we still broke. We couldn't manage our own oil company, so we broke it up and farmed it out, and other people are benefiting from the billions of dollars that used to go into the coffers of Trinidad and Tobago. Our failure to manage natural gas in an environment that could have kept industry in Trinidad has caused 6 of the largest industries in the Point Lisa's industrial estate to shut down and leave. We've not had real government for a long time. To the residents of Laburnum Avenue in Petite Valley, who called me about a bamboo patch in an empty lot of land between 2 houses, who are bearing the cost of maintaining at least a fire trail between their house and the bamboo patch. They are in the shadow of a bamboo patch well above 20 feet tall. The regional corporation has ignored them, from the Congress of the People to the United National Congress, and now the PNM controlled regional corporation don't care. Members of Parliament, the Member of Parliament, Colin Bird, he's been there for so long that he knows exactly how to ignore you. And that as long as race politics and voter padding allows him to benefit from a people's national movement that sells itself as the black party, but he's not black, but he just gets to ride on that sentiment, because all they need to sell you subtly and overtly that Indian can't run there, so you're stuck. The people of Diego Martin Northeast, stuck. The people of Diego Martin West, stuck. The people of Diego Martin Central have been exchanging crappos for the last 20 years, a different crappo every time, and each time it got worse. To the point where Diego Martin Central has been so unrepresented, they're taking care of their own business, cleaning their own roads, paving their own potholes. They don't even bother anymore. People call me from Manning Street to tell me that there is a derelict truck that they've been begging the Diego Martin Regional Corporation to move its derelict, a big 5-ton truck complete with cab and tray, where people are hiding behind the truck and robbing old people walking up and down the streets, and the Regional Corporation not even responding to their requests. That is contempt. How did we get to here? And why does a race vote allow you to think that $500 or $1,000 or OJT or URP or CPEP or a promise of a HDC, or maybe if you vote for we, you'll get a piece of Petrotrin land or maybe a Caroni land? How does that translate to people in this country thinking that that's going to work for them and their loved ones in the future? At what point did we lose our self-respect? At what point did we lose our national identity? At what point did we lose our personal integrity so that at election time we could be made into dancing fools for a jersey, a sandwich, and a juice? At what point did that happen? And how do we reverse that? How do we get the people of Bagatelle, Covey, Rich Plain, Factory Road, Mercer, Mason, Saganga, La Puerta, Abbey Pujad, Big Yard, Hague Street, Scorpion, all of that is Keith Rowley. All of those communities are at risk, hotspots, failing communities, communities that need real urgent attention from government. And they tell you, wean yourself of government, while the billionaires are building malls, shopping plaza, apartment complexes on government land for $1 a month, where 5 Islands amusement park got the whole of Sharkville for less money than KFC used to pay to rent a 500 square foot space there, where that amusement park that now belongs to private interests that has taken away the entire Sharkville coast from the normal everyday citizens that used to go there with their families for a dip in the water and a time on the beach. It costs less to them, to us, to receive. We get less than the car park used to make. How did we get here? And how are people accepting when a member of parliament and a government minister could tell them, wean yourself off government. Government's job is not jobs, it is not street lights, it is not roads. So what is government's job? The well-being of each and every citizen is the reason for a government. Fitzgerald Hines is a madman. And that people took that nonsense. When Keith Rowley told a handful of his supporters that Trinidad can't diversify, he was talking like an inmate of the St. Anne's Asylum. Singapore is quarter the size of Trinidad and Tobago. They don't have oil, they don't have gas, they don't have a pitch lake, they don't have a Tobago. Yet, for a properly run country offering services like shipping and financial services, their economy is 20 times the size of Trinidad's economy. They are quarter the size of Trinidad. Their GDP is almost $400 billion a year. Ours, with oil, gas, pitch, Tobago, 22 billion. Now tell me, at what point do we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, stand up and say, it ain't have enough in this racist nonsense for me to continue to be fooled? It can't continue. Because even if I chose myself to waste my life 5-year chunks of incompetent corruption, racist, tribalism, nonsense governance at a time, even if I was okay to do that for my lifetime, what about my children? Do I want that for them? Every single time the rain falls in Trinidad and Tobago, all of that rain should be captured and diverted, if not to the reservoirs, to holding ponds, retention ponds, lakes, dams, what have you, so that we could have water to use. And you have water 24 hours a day. But we don't. We have a government that has designed a water system that washes the rainwater out to sea. And then we spend $500 million a year desalinating seawater. If you hear those two things and don't realize how insane it is to be voting these corrupt people into office, because their plans make no sense. No sense at all. I have asked, how does a ribbon of tar separate Fatima College from Mokorapo, and one be a prestige school and one be failed. I have asked if it is the same Ministry of Education, if it is the same curriculum, if it is the same teachers training, the teacher pool from the teachers training college, if it is the same funding, how does one do better than the other? And the SCA is just child abuse. The SCA has been created in this country when we did not have enough school places, so it was an actual competition. Some were going to fail. Failing means there aren't enough school places, some people just not going to get into school. But we have all the school places we need now. So why would the same Ministry of Education, with the same pool of teachers, from the same teacher training college and the same curriculum with the same funding, have prestige schools and failed schools? And why would our system of education abandon our children until 5 years down the road? You do SCA now, you do CXC then, and we find out what you did with your youth. More insanity. Everywhere you look, we have pristine, fertile land in this country, growing razor grass, waiting on approvals for friends, family, and financiers of the PNM and the UNC, who have secretly awarded each other large tracts of formerly Caroni and now Petrotrin land. While this election is going on, the government is trying to sell all of the lands vested in CL Financial and Colonial Life, PECO. But those lands belong to us. Until the CLICO debt is paid, it belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And those lands should not be put on the market in such a clandestine manner. We should know, if you are divesting assets of a company that you took $20 billion from the public funds to bail out, you should be accounting to the people as to why you're selling it now. Not everything must be because we're on fire. At some point, we need a government that could sit down rationally, soberly, sensibly, and say, this is the mission, this is the plan, this is the goal, this is where we're trying to go, this is how long it will take us to get there, these are the steps it's going to take to accomplish that, this is how much it's going to cost, and we could give you measurable metrics, timelines, budgets. We could tell you 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in, along this journey, where we should be and what we should have accomplished. And you should be able to ask, are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind schedule? What's going on? Are we on budget, under budget, over budget? What's going on? You shouldn't have to wait until Taruba has a roof to find out that Taruba is costing us 10 times what it was budgeted. We were supposed to get 10 Taruba stadiums for the money that was spent. There is a level of insanity in the incompetence that we allow. There is a level of madness in the way Trinidad and Tobago is run. We, the people of this country, it falls to us. It can no longer be a racist argument. I Indian, so I vote in so. I black, so I vote in so. It could no longer be that. Because for as long as that continues, when the Indians are in power, the same contract mafia that looting the country when the black party in power, looting still. It's the same names calling. And a next 5-year chunk of your and your children's life gone. So tell me, is this good enough? Where else in the world would you have a country run by something as silly as the race of a person's skin, the color of a person's skin and their race determining who is in government? And what I find remarkable is that the contract mafia that has been stealing this country's trillions of dollars, they're not racially divided. They are equal opportunity offenders and abusers. And if they could get together to steal and run rampage through our country, why can't we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, unite ourselves for a real cause, for real change, for our country, for ourselves and for our children's future? It is not too late for Trinidad and Tobago. Our water policy, capture, hold, treat, distribute, will save us billions, will get you to pick up the water tanks in your yard and dispose of them, get rid of the water tank, water pump, save that entry on your electricity bill, because you'll have water in your taps 24/7. No longer you'll have to wait 4 o'clock in the morning, you're hearing water falling in the tank, you're waking up the whole family, time to mop floor, time to wash clothes, time to wash wares, time to flush toilets, because you want to use water while it's in the tap, so that when the tank full, you have tank water. That's what we've become. People who have been squirreling away and guarding water in a country that gets 100 times the water it needs falling from the sky for free. And we waste it. For how much longer are we going to waste our children's futures in a failed education system? How much longer will we continue like rats on a treadmill, working to pay inflated prices to the food importers because our fertile lands being sold to cineplexes and malls and housing projects when they should be growing food for local consumption and export? How much longer are we prepared to sit idly by and allow these two corrupt, racist, divisive parties to lead us astray? All of the promises that the yellow side making now, my question is, you had 5 years and 6 months before. Didn't you know it then? Or did you need the Progressive Empowerment Party to be launched on January 18th, 2017, so that you could get real policies that could actually make a difference to Trinidad? And are you actually admitted that you had no clue before while plagiarizing and copying and pasting Progressive Empowerment Party policies? The reality that faces all of us today, this election is a very important election. Our government collapsed in office. They have run away from the election budget because they know only too well what is staring us in the future. Trinidad and Tobago has been broken by a government that has no idea what it was doing. It is being courted by another. Both times it was in office, collapsed in a heap of allegations of massive corruption and fraud. Do you want to go back to the drunken romps and fraud and corruption and madness? Or are you ready for sober, sensible, policy-driven leadership that leaves not one citizen behind? The Progressive Empowerment Party speaks to the environment with an environmental Bill of Rights. We have an animal Bill of Rights to be enshrined into the Constitution. Both sides, red and yellow, have been talking animal rights policies 40 years. For as long as they were talking children's rights policies. And it took us in another organization called the Jericho Project to march and put 25,000 people in the street to force the government to go and pass the children's bill and set up the children's authority and make a difference. But we shouldn't have to march and riot and burn tires to get proper representation. We shouldn't have to make noise and come out in the street and disturb ourselves and disturb our neighbors. We should be able to pick up the phone or send an email or WhatsApp or a text to a representative in some office of state and say, hey, this needs attending to. Like the people in Lotion Road in Petite Valley, who the silt at the bottom of the concrete drain is so thick now that if rain falls heavier than normal, it is going to flood their homes. Trinidad and Tobago, I speak now for Diego Martin Northeast, but if you give us the volume of seats that you could, we have 28 candidates, and if you vote every one of them into office, I could also be your prime minister. And I want to tell you something. We've elected people to office with more degrees than a thermometer, and all we've done is dug ourselves a hole. Sensible, sober leadership is what this country needs now. It's not just time now. It's time for real change. If what you want is a better country for you and your family, this election, August 10th, 2020, you, like all of us, each of us, one vote at a time, together, have to go out in our numbers to save TNT and vote PEP. Thank you.